Welcome, gents. Have you ever wondered why some men, despite being strong, intelligent, and deeply aware, often stand alone without a girlfriend? It is not because they cannot attract women, or because they are socially weak. In fact, Sigma males are often the opposite. They are magnetic in ways that most people cannot fully explain. Yet, their reality with relationships is far more complex and brutally honest than many are willing to admit. Sigma males are not driven by the same desires that push others into quick relationships. For them, being with someone is not about filling a void or chasing an image of happiness. It is about truth, depth, and alignment. They would rather be alone than settle for someone who doesn't bring real value to their lives. That choice may seem harsh, but it is also what gives them their strength. This lifestyle is not easy. It can feel isolating at times, but it also sharpens them into men who know exactly who they are. They refuse to play games, they see through pretenses, and they protect their peace like it is sacred. This is why their path is not filled with countless flings or shallow romances. If you're someone who feels out of place because you choose depth over distraction, take courage. What may look like loneliness from the outside is often the mark of someone who understands their worth. The truth is simple. Sigma males rarely have girlfriends because their standard for connection is extraordinary. Number 1. They are not distracted by appearance alone. Most men can be swept away by beauty alone. A smile, a flawless face, or a perfect figure is often enough to make them lose their sense of judgment. But a Sigma male does not operate like that. Yes, he notices beauty. He appreciates it just like anyone else, but it never blinds him. Instead, he looks past the surface almost instantly. He wants to know what lives beneath the appearance, because for him, attraction without depth is nothing more than decoration. Think about it. How many times have you seen people fall into relationships built only on looks? It starts exciting, but the excitement fades when they realize there is no real connection. A Sigma male avoids that trap from the start. If he talks to someone and finds emptiness behind the smile, he quietly checks out before things even begin. This is not about being harsh or judgmental. It is about understanding that beauty can catch the eye, but it cannot keep the mind engaged. Imagine sitting across from someone who is stunning, but every conversation feels shallow. The spark dies quickly. For a Sigma male, that spark has to be fueled by curiosity, intelligence, and character. This is why many people misread him as cold or uninterested. The truth is that he is not rejecting beauty. He is simply refusing to be fooled by it. He would rather connect with someone whose thoughts inspire him than waste time with someone who only looks good in photos. It may look like he is hard to impress, but really he is just selective in the best way. His attention is not cheap, and his interest cannot be bought with appearances. That is exactly what makes his connections, when they do happen, so rare and powerful. Number 2. They do not need a partner to feel whole. Most people step into relationships because they are searching for something they feel is missing. It might be comfort, a sense of belonging, or even a distraction from loneliness. But Sigma males are built differently. They do not approach relationships from a place of need. They already feel whole on their own. This does not mean they are closed off or unwilling to share their lives with someone. It means they do not carry the weight of expecting another person to fix them. If a woman enters their life, she is not there to fill an empty space. She is there to stand beside them as an equal presence, not as a missing puzzle piece. Think of it this way. Imagine two people who both feel incomplete. When they come together, the relationship is fragile because each is relying on the other to provide what they cannot give themselves. The moment one fails, the whole connection shakes. Sigma males avoid this because they have already done the work of building themselves. Their sense of identity, purpose, and peace does not come from someone else's approval. This makes their relationships unusual but also incredibly powerful. When a Sigma male chooses a partner, it is not out of desperation or convenience. It is a conscious choice, born out of respect, admiration, and genuine interest. He is not looking for someone to save him, nor is he trying to save her. Instead, he is creating a bond where two strong individuals walk side by side. And here is the beauty of it. Because he does not need a partner to feel whole. His love is not built on fear of losing her. It is built on freedom. He loves because he wants to, not because he has to. That is why being with a Sigma male feels rare. His connection is not about filling a gap, but about multiplying what is already complete. Number 3. They move at a different pace. We live in a world where everything feels fast. Messages are sent in seconds, relationships start overnight, and people expect love to move like a quick download. Many rush from one stage to another, eager to lock things down before truly knowing who they are with. But Sigma males move differently. They refuse to treat relationships like a race. For them, growth has to unfold naturally, step by step. Think of it like planting a tree. You cannot force it to grow by pulling at its branches or pouring water non-stop. Real growth takes time, sunlight, patience, and care. A Sigma male understands that the same rule applies to relationships. He is not interested in skipping chapters or fast-forwarding to the end. He wants the story to develop at its own pace without pressure. This can be difficult for many partners to accept. Some people want constant validation, quick promises, or instant progress. They feel anxious when things are not moving fast enough. But for a Sigma, forcing a relationship is the quickest way to break it. If he senses that someone cannot handle his rhythm, the connection quietly fades. What makes his pace unique is that it allows real understanding to take root. He takes the time to observe, to listen, and to truly know the other person. There is no rush to label things or to prove affection with grand gestures. Instead, every step feels intentional, every bond stronger than the last. It may frustrate those who crave speed, but in the end, it saves both sides from wasted time and disappointment. When a Sigma finally commits, it is not because he was pressured into it, but because he chose it with full clarity. And that makes his love steady, lasting, and far more valuable than something born out of haste. Number 4. They will not be distracted from their mission. Every Sigma male has a mission that fuels his life. It could be a career path he is building from scratch, a personal goal that keeps him pushing forward, or a passion he pours himself into when no one is watching. This mission is not just a hobby or a way to pass time. It is the very thing that gives his life direction and meaning. And once he is locked into it, nothing easily pulls him away. In today's world, distractions come from every corner. Friends calling for constant hangouts, endless scrolling on phones, or even partners who demand all of someone's time and attention. Many men give in to these distractions and lose track of where they were heading. But a Sigma does not. His focus is razor sharp. If a relationship begins to interfere with the path he is walking, he does not hesitate to let it go. Imagine a student who is preparing for a life-changing exam. He knows that passing it will open doors for his future. If he spends all his nights at parties instead of studying, he will fail. The Sigma male treats his mission with the same seriousness. He will enjoy companionship, but never at the cost of abandoning what he is building. This does not mean he is incapable of love. On the contrary, when he allows someone close, that person gets to share in his vision and witness his growth firsthand. But the difference is clear. His mission comes first, and any partner must respect it. This is why so many relationships with Sigmas fail before they even start. If someone tries to compete with his mission or pull him away from it, the relationship collapses. But when someone stands beside him, encouraging him instead of distracting him, the bond becomes stronger than most can imagine. Number 5. They spot pretenses instantly. One of the sharpest traits of a Sigma male is his ability to see through pretense almost immediately. While many people get caught up in appearances or polished acts, a Sigma quietly studies patterns, words, and energy. He notices the little things most ignore: a forced laugh, a story that doesn't line up, or a behavior that changes depending on who is watching. These details reveal more than any perfect presentation ever could. In today's world, almost everyone is projecting some version of themselves. Social media is a good example. People post highlight reels of their lives, showing smiles and luxury while hiding struggles and emptiness. Many do the same in real life. They present a version of themselves they think will be admired. The Sigma male does not get lost in that performance. He can sense when something does not match, and once he detects it, he mentally steps back. Imagine meeting someone who talks constantly about being confident, yet their body language shows nervousness every time they are not the center of attention. Most people would ignore that contradiction, but a Sigma notices it instantly. He trusts what is real, not what is staged. This ability can make him intimidating. People often feel exposed around him, as though he can see the parts of themselves they would rather keep hidden. It is not that he wants to judge, but he values authenticity so deeply that anything fake feels like wasted time. This is why relationships with Sigmas are rare. He does not fall for masks or polished fronts. If someone cannot be genuine, he disengages before things move further. And while that can make him appear detached, the truth is that he is simply protecting himself from shallow connections. For him, authenticity is the foundation of trust, and without it, nothing meaningful can grow. Number 6. They have little tolerance for emotional chaos. Sigma males have very little patience for emotional chaos. They are not cold, but they value peace in their inner world. Constant drama, unnecessary arguments, and endless mood swings feel like poison to them. While some people thrive in turbulence because it makes them feel alive or gives them attention, a Sigma sees it as wasted energy that blocks progress. Think of it this way. Imagine a man working on an important project. He is focused, steady, and in his flow. Now imagine someone storming in every 10 minutes, throwing problems at him that are not really problems, just noise. Eventually, his focus is gone. That is exactly how a Sigma feels when dealing with unnecessary emotional chaos. It drains him, not because he cannot handle emotions, but because he sees no point in battles that lead nowhere. This does not mean a Sigma avoids all emotions. He respects real feelings, and he will sit with someone he cares about through pain, sadness, or fear. But what he refuses to do is get caught in cycles of constant fighting and dramatic displays. If he senses that someone thrives on conflict or uses emotions as a tool for control, he quietly distances himself. Many women misinterpret this as him being detached, but it is really about survival. He protects his mental space the way others protect their physical space. Just as you would not live in a house filled with constant noise, he will not remain in a relationship filled with storms. When a Sigma loves, he wants calm waters. Not because life will always be easy, but because mutual respect makes it easier to face challenges together. If a woman cannot live without chaos, she will never last with him, because his peace will always be worth more to him than a destructive bond. Number 7. They hold unforgiving standards of loyalty. For a Sigma male, loyalty is not just a nice quality in a relationship. It is the foundation that everything else stands on. Without it, nothing matters. He does not measure loyalty only in big, dramatic acts. To him, even the smallest betrayal or inconsistency is enough to break the entire bond. This may sound harsh to some, but it comes from the way he values trust. Once a Sigma lets someone close, he does not hold back. He invests his time, his energy, and his truth without filters. In return, he expects the same level of honesty and consistency. If that balance breaks even slightly, he does not wait around to see if it will happen again. He quietly ends it and moves on. Picture this. Imagine lending your most valuable possession to a friend, and they return it damaged, claiming it was no big deal. For you, it may feel like a small thing to them, but the trust is broken. That is how a Sigma treats loyalty. It is not about whether the act was big or small. It is about what it reveals. This is why many people find Sigmas difficult to be with. They do not offer second chances easily. While others may tolerate lies, half-truths, or small betrayals, a Sigma will not. He sees disloyalty as a warning sign of deeper problems, and instead of sticking around to be proven right, he walks away. It may make him look unforgiving, but the truth is that his standards protect him from toxic cycles. He would rather be alone with peace than tied to someone whose loyalty can shift depending on circumstances. When he finds a partner who values loyalty as much as he does, the bond becomes unbreakable. But until then, he will not compromise. Number 8. They are invisible to many women. One of the reasons Sigma males rarely have girlfriends is that to many women they are almost invisible. Not because they lack presence or value, but because they do not put themselves on display the way louder or flashier men do. In a world where attention often goes to the one who shouts the loudest or shows off the most, the Sigma quietly goes unnoticed. Many women are conditioned to notice the man who dominates the conversation, the one cracking jokes in the center of the group, or the one showing off material success. That is the kind of energy that easily catches attention. The Sigma, however, does not compete for eyes or applause. He does not chase validation through noise or spectacle. This naturally makes him harder to spot in a sea of men who are trying to be seen. Think of it like walking through a busy street filled with neon signs. Bright lights, loud music, and flashy colors are everywhere, pulling your eyes in all directions. Then, tucked away on a quiet side street, there is a small shop with no sign at all. Most people will never notice it, yet inside that shop lies something rare and priceless. The Sigma male is like that hidden place. Only those who look beyond the obvious will ever find him. This invisibility has its cost. Many women pass him by simply because he does not match the picture of what they are trained to see as attractive. But it is also his strength, because the few who do notice him notice for the right reasons. They see not just a performance, but the depth behind his quiet presence. So while he may remain unseen to most, to the ones who truly pay attention, he becomes unforgettable. That is why the Sigma never loses sleep over being overlooked. He knows his worth does not require a spotlight. Number 9. They value truth over comfort. For Sigma males, truth is not negotiable. They do not dress their words in sugar or try to make everything sound pleasant just to avoid discomfort. When they speak, they say exactly what they see and feel, even if it cuts a little. This raw honesty often sets them apart, but it also pushes many people away before a real connection can even begin. Most people are used to hearing what makes them feel good, not what challenges them. They want reassurance, even when it is not entirely real. For example, if someone asks how they look in a new outfit, most people will compliment them, even if the outfit is not flattering. A Sigma male will tell the truth directly, not because he wants to hurt, but because he values honesty more than temporary comfort. This trait can be difficult for many women to handle in relationships. In the early stages, people often want constant affirmation and soft words. A Sigma male is capable of being kind, but he will not lie to maintain an illusion. If he sees something is not right, he will say it without hesitation. At first, this might come across as cold or even brutal, but those who stick around long enough realize that his honesty is actually a form of respect. He does not waste time with fake reassurance. Instead, he offers the rare gift of truth, even when it is hard to hear. This is why relationships with Sigma males are rare. Only someone who values truth over sweet lies can truly stand beside them. For others, the rawness feels too sharp, too unsettling. But for the few who can handle it, his honesty becomes the very reason they trust him completely. With a Sigma, you always know where you stand, and that clarity is priceless. Number 10. They can love without needing. One of the most surprising truths about Sigma males is their ability to love without needing. For many people, relationships are built on some form of dependency. They rely on each other for emotional stability, for constant reassurance, or even just to escape loneliness. But a Sigma male does not step into a relationship because he feels incomplete. He is already whole on his own. This changes everything. When a Sigma loves, it is not from a place of desperation. He does not cling to someone out of fear of being alone, and he does not need constant attention to feel secure. Instead, his love comes as a choice. He chooses to be with someone not because he cannot live without them, but because he wants to share his already full life with them. At first glance, this can feel unsettling to some women. Many expect love to come with a certain level of dependence, where the other person constantly proves how much they cannot do without them. When a Sigma does not show that need, it is often misread as detachment. He may care deeply, but because he does not display desperation, it seems like he is not fully invested. Imagine someone standing on solid ground while others are clinging to life rafts in the middle of the ocean. The ones on the rafts are constantly reaching for each other because they fear sinking. The one on solid ground can reach out too, but he does not need to cling to survive. That is the Sigma male in relationships. This is why his love feels so different. It is calm, steady, and free from fear. He will never beg someone to stay, but when he chooses to love, it is powerful because it is not driven by need. It is driven by genuine desire, which is far stronger. Number 11. They rarely believe in half measures. Sigma males do not know how to give halfway in anything that matters to them, and relationships are no exception. When they decide to invest in someone, they do it with their full attention, energy, and presence. There is no in-between. Either they are all in, or they are not involved at all. This intensity can feel overwhelming to people who are used to lighter involvement. Many enter relationships casually, testing the waters, keeping backup options, or never fully committing. That is normal in today's world, where temporary connections are common and many avoid giving too much of themselves. But a Sigma male cannot function like that. He sees no point in spending time with someone if he is not going to give it everything he has. Think about it like training for a marathon. Some people jog a little here and there, just enough to say they participated. But the serious runner trains every day, pushing his body and mind to be ready for the challenge. The Sigma is like that runner. When he commits to someone, he does not hold back. He gives his loyalty, his focus, and his truth. The problem is that this intensity can scare people off. Some find it too heavy, too real, or simply too much responsibility. They wanted something casual, something easy to walk away from. But with a Sigma, there is no casual. He is either deeply invested or completely uninterested. This is why many relationships with him never even begin. The moment he senses half measures from the other person, he loses interest. To him, love should not be about convenience or temporary comfort. It should be a full decision. And because he only knows how to love fully, only those who are ready to match that level of commitment can ever stay. Number 12. They see patterns most ignore. One of the rare abilities Sigma males carry into relationships is the way they notice patterns that most people overlook. Where others may see only romance, excitement, and surface-level chemistry, the Sigma quietly studies the cycles and habits underneath. He pays attention to the way someone reacts when they are upset, how they handle stress, or whether their words consistently match their actions. These hidden dynamics reveal far more to him than any sweet words ever could. This sharp awareness makes him cautious about commitment. He does not rush because he knows that early attraction can easily blind people to red flags. While some ignore the signs for the sake of keeping the spark alive, a Sigma sees them immediately and cannot unsee them. If he notices a pattern of dishonesty, manipulation, or emotional instability, he does not wait for it to explode later. He steps back before things get too deep. Imagine someone watching a chess game. The average player only thinks about the current move, but a skilled player sees 5 or 6 moves ahead. That is how a Sigma approaches relationships. He's not just living in the moment. He is predicting how certain behaviors will unfold over time. This ability can frustrate women who feel he is too guarded or slow to commit. What they may not realize is that his caution is his way of protecting both himself and the potential relationship. By spotting problems early, he avoids unnecessary heartbreak and wasted years. The downside is that many connections end before they truly start, simply because he sees a pattern that others would rather ignore. Yet this is also his strength. He does not gamble with his peace or his future. For the Sigma, love is not just about how it feels today, but whether it can stand tomorrow. In final words, have you ever stopped to think that maybe being single is not a weakness but a strength in disguise? Sigma males live in a way that many cannot understand, and that is why their love lives often look different. They do not settle for shallow connections, they do not chase appearances, and they refuse to hold on to relationships that drain their spirit. That choice may look harsh to some, but in reality, it is freedom. The truth is that many people jump into relationships out of fear of being alone. A Sigma male does not carry that fear. He knows that being whole by himself is better than being half with someone else. That kind of independence can be intimidating to others, but it is also a reminder of what self-respect really looks like. If you find yourself walking a similar path, do not see it as a curse. Do not measure your worth by whether someone is beside you or not. Measure it by how true you remain to yourself. A relationship should never be about filling an empty space. It should be about two complete people choosing to build something stronger together. So when you see a Sigma male who rarely has a girlfriend, understand this: it is not because he cannot love. It is because he loves in a way that demands truth, loyalty, and depth. And if you are someone who values the same, take heart. Your path may be harder, but it will lead to connections that are rare, unshakable, and worth every step.